Hi everybody, how's it going? I want to talk about parental estrangement and the extreme. I truly believe if and when one of your children disconnects and they are on the warpath, they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to see you. If you reach out, they call the cops or file a letter of harassment against you and tell you to stay away. And they've swung so far to the opposite side that it's not even someone you recognize anymore. And they are so steadfast in their beliefs that there's absolutely no way they are going to cave. And let's just say you were a heart surgeon and you were the best of the best in your field. And lo and behold, little do you know, but your son or daughter is in a different state or different city or up the block, and they've seen their cardiologist, and that cardiologist says, hey, you need to have surgery. You need to have a quadruple bypass. And we know just the person to perform that surgery, and that is your dad. Now, in the medical profession, there's a conflict of interest, and a lot of times they're more or less very careful because now it's an emotional and not just a procedural. And so normally I truly think that there will be a disconnect. But what if that was your son or daughter's only option, was for you to be the one to make the first cut? I believe some of these individuals, our kids, are so stubborn that they would say, you know what, I would rather die than my dad or mom perform this surgery on me. That is what it's come to. They would rather have a loss of life than admit that they need you, need your help, or need your expertise. And I think what it comes down to is when you've taken a stand and you've said, this is the worst person in the world, and I would never be around them, and they're never going to be around my kids. And all of a sudden, life takes a turn, and they need you for something, but don't know what to do. I think it would be really tricky because, I always say when they won't allow us to meet our grandkids, what if one of our grandchildren was sick, needed bone marrow, and they couldn't find a match? And their doctor said to your daughter, well, do you have any family members that we can test? And your daughter has never told her children that you, in fact, exist. And all of a sudden, she has to say to the doctor, well, I've been estranged from my mom for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And and she might be the last person we can tap into. And the doctor will say, well, this type might be the donor blood that will save your son or daughter. What is their response going to be when someone has to reach out to you? And it may be a hospital, a nurse, a doctor, or a social worker that says, Mrs. So-and-so, we would like for you to come in and get tested to see if you are a match for your grandson or your granddaughter. What is going to happen when we are put on the spot to possibly save the life of our relative? I'll tell you, that's not something a lot of people think about, but it does happen. I've heard of cases where parents have a child who's very sick, and so they go conceive another child, and the secondary child is a match, and that child saves the life of their first child. So chances are someday you might get that call, and what's going to happen if your son or daughter caves and gives your information and you are called to save the life of this innocent child? I mean, this has got to be a heart-wrenching situation all the way around, but can you imagine your grandchild seeing your face for the first time and you look just like their mom or dad, and they say, "Who are you?" And you say that I'm the person that's hopefully going to save your life, and they say, "But who are you?" And you're all sitting in the room thinking, how do we tell them that grandma or grandpa is that you're the grandma or grandpa? How are they going to react? It's crazy. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I hope this helps someone, but who knows? I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.